Welcome back to Scale-Cast Building Designer. We're going to look at part 3 this time, and currently on the grid I've got the pieces for the Linka B1 and the Linka B2, so we can get a little bit more elaborate. Okay, the first thing I'm going to notice on this grid is that you haven't got a lot of area to play around with. So one of the first things you might want to think about is editing the grid size. So that's the blue grid there. Here bottom right you've got edit grid. You can click on grid, and for this particular instance we're going to set that at 300 millimeters by 300 millimeters. Just type in the box and click update grid, and you've got a bit more working space. And the next thing I'm going to do is just grab all the pieces, so select them all anywhere on one of the pieces or the area that's selected, and just move them up to the top right corner. That gives us the pieces that we're going to work with and a nice grid to work on. If you remember in the last videos, if we click on a piece and we click on this little square box, it homes us in on that piece or fits the view to that selection, so it brings us all the way in. We can roll back out. Similarly, we can just move across there, go and see what this one is, etc. The button just above it there is the home button, so it just sets everything back to the centre, so you've got somewhere to go. Okay, similarly, you can change views by spinning round if we want to work to the other side of the model, and that's in 45-degree twists, or we can just click and hold and with our right mouse button just drag around and zoom it as we want. But when we get everything out of context and we just want to go back to the middle, click on the button there, it'll square everything back up for us. Okay, so last time we looked at Control and D, which is the duplicate part. So we'll just start with a piece of wall here. What I generally do is keep the pieces there and just take copies off them to the working area that you're working on. Now we can use Control and D as we've done before, or we can press Control and copy, which is Control C, and Control V to paste. The difference being Control C copies it, you don't see anything much happen. Control V just copies it and moves it slightly off to the right so you can see that it's moved away, and then you can drag it. Or, as we've done before, you can click that part that you want, press Control and D, and just click and drag it, and it leaves the other piece behind. If by accident you sort of pick up a piece here and you think you've pressed Control and D and you end up moving the original piece, you just click the undo, which is there, and it'll just put that piece back. And you can go undo as many times as you like. The nice thing about this application is it's constantly saving, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So let's just set for this particular argument we want to actually start a building now. Again, if we don't want a piece on the work surface, we can just highlight it and press the delete key, and it's gone. It's quite as simple as that. So in this particular case, I like the Control D because it just duplicates it. I can actually see it flash yellow, so I know it's there, and just drag it to where you want it. So I'm just doing a rough idea here. So I may want that piece, then I might want, I don't know, another one of these. Just drag it down there and start thinking about what you actually want to build and what it's going to look like. And then I might decide that I'll have a door. I want that type of door. I like a door. So we'll move that down here and get a feel for how this might look. Okay. So let's just take those 4 parts to begin with. Now I've just dragged those willy-nilly all over the place onto the grid. So one of the other tools that you want to become familiar with is the alignment tool. I can click and hold all of those parts, or individually I can click on a part and hold the shift key and click another part, and it's just the 2 that I'm working on that I've selected. So I'm just going to keep on these 2. Okay, you've got this adjust button up here on the top of the tool menu, and you've got a little down arrow on it. If you click the down arrow and you click align, you get these little tools here now. Yeah, these buttons around the side. So let's have a quick look. It'll take a little tiny bit of getting used to. Once you've got used to it, it's fairly quick. This is saying bring both pieces across to the right as individual pieces, which means they'll go on top of each other. This one, both pieces to the centre, and they'll go on top of each other. Both pieces to the left, etc. This is the one we're looking for, which means align them to that bottom red line there. So there you go, they're aligned now. You can see how the other ones have grayed out because it's already aligned on all of them. Okay, so I know those two pieces are in line. Okay, so just for this demonstration, if I just use my arrow keys and I press the down arrow and move them away, I think, oh, I want to line everything up. Okay, in this instance I'm going to drag through them. Okay, click adjust, align to the bottom, they're all lined up. Everything's just lined up perfectly. And the first few pieces you put together always take a little bit longer than the next pieces because you tend to be copying pieces around, or chunks of pieces, and things just get quicker. But I'm being quite precise now. So I'm going to zoom in to that piece a little bit more so I can see it. Just slide away so I can just see this face here. And if you think I'm joining this is the edge of the piece, as you can see right around the edge there. Right? So it's sort of ignoring these little cutouts. And if you remember the grid tool, which I'm going to go over again, and I click my blue grid, I get this pointy arrow cone manipulator, and it's just saying where do you want the grid to be. So I'm going to click on there, and it's just put the grid on there. Okay, if I then click on the piece outside of it, I've got the arrow, it's there, and it's saying it's 8.2 millimeters away. Similarly, if I go around here, sometimes the arrow appears here, it does look, and I can still see the 8.2 in the right hand corner. It just depends where you are. Yeah, so just whatever you're comfortable with, just slide around till you get a view that you can see. Click and hold and slide that across until it's 0. Okay, and while the grid's still there, you can just carry on and do exactly the same thing. The grid tool here, move that to there, so the grid's going through the pieces. I'm on here, hold that, 17.4, drag it till it's 0. Oops, I can't, stay a little bit there. Just got to have a pretty good mouse for this. And onto there. Just zoom out a little bit, grab this thing and pull it till it's go on there, it's 0. And if you remember now to just drop the grid back onto the floor, click the grid itself and just click away. And I've got those 4 pieces. Now we're going to get a little bit more adventurous. So I'm just going to pick up the 4 pieces, I'm going to group them together so they're all one section, and then I'm going to colour them. So here's the colour part, so I can colour them whatever colour I feel like doing, and I can change them back to white afterwards if I want. So let's just say we're going to have a cream. Yeah. So now I know which pieces I'm working on, which is good when you're working on a larger model. Okay. So you've seen some of the tools. I'm going to do this and let you watch through. Yeah. Click or click. I know they're all grouped, so I was just double checking there. Okay. So grab the little corner part, keep inside the circle to 90 degrees. We'll be playing with that a little bit more when we get onto roofs. We know we're 14.3 from the floor. Drag that up till we get to 0. And there's our part. And we might just want to move it over a little bit. And we'll just click on this little square button. Let's take our view over there. Right. Okay. So I'm going to continue round the building, as it were. Okay. So just ignoring that I'm not creating anything fancy here. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm going to press Ctrl and D, which is duplicate. Okay. If I slide around the plane to the right, then move the right arrow key, it'll drop behind. Okay. So the right arrow key is relative to the view that you're looking at. If I slide it to there and move right, it'll move it that way. Okay. But I can move all the arrow keys. Okay. So let's assume that I want to join this piece to this piece in a 45 degree, like that sort of affair. Okay. The arrow on the floor is the one that's spinning it in side view. Okay. And then I'm just going to click on the part and just drag it out here somewhere. So it's all well out of line, but there's our 2 pieces that I want to just join up quite perfectly. Okay. So I'm zooming out a little bit. Select both pieces. Click adjust. Align. Okay. This will bring that piece there across here. So there we go. We know they're perfectly in line in that particular plane. And to join them that way, again, I like to use the grid. So the grid's there. I'm not really close enough in, so I can't really see what I'm doing, so I'm just zooming in. just drop it inside one of those little arrows. Okay, click on your part, and it's 42, 3, 2, 1 minus. Can't see that. A little bit far away. 0. There we go. Click the grid work plane tool again, drop it to the floor, and there we're all connected up. Okay, so I might go, well, I'm really happy with this, so I'm just going to click that. And this is what I do. Everything that I'm happy with is staying white. Everything I'm working on is staying this beige colour. If I wanted to copy the floor upwards again, well, we'll show you that at a later date, but we'll just carry on building the bottom floor. So the tools to remember, don't forget if the grid's not showing for whatever reason, there's the tool, click that, the grid's coming up. And one other thing I'm going to show you is the ruler. So if I click the ruler, it doesn't really matter where I drop this on the floor, just drop it on the floor. Yeah, it sort of tells me all the dimensions. So 108.8 millimeters, 32 millimeters high, etc, etc, off the particular part that I've selected. If I click this one, it'll tell me exactly the same. Yeah, 108.8 millimeters. These two dimensions are just saying how far from that centre point there. Okay, and it's generally used for sizing and aligning, but we'll come on to that at a bit later date. When you don't want the ruler on there, you can leave it on as long as you want, but when you don't, just click the little arrow and it'll just get rid of the ruler for you. And that ends session 3. So some of the next sessions we'll actually be building some models. Okay, see you soon.